Am I the asshole for telling my daughter it's her fault she has no pictures of herself? Okay, so I 54 female have 5 kids, 3 bio, 2 step. The issue is with my eldest Clem, who is 26 female. The only pictures I have of Clem are from the day she was born to around her 8th birthday, but none after that. She would ruin any picture she was in by making funny faces, hiding from the camera, making weird signs with her hands, or by messing with other people. It was like this until she was 12, when she started to straight up refuse. We would tell her to come for the family photo, but she would refuse. We never forced her, but would gently encourage her. She even refused school pictures. I have no pictures of birthdays, graduations, prom photos, holidays or days out with her in them. It broke my heart because I don't have any pictures of her growing up. Family photos look odd, because she's not in them. Clem is 26 now and is pregnant with her first child. She brought her significant other over for dinner, and after we were looking at photo albums. We got to hers and she saw hers was nearly empty. She asked where all her pictures were and I told her she refused to have any taken. She got all teary-eyed and told me to stop joking. At this point, I'm very annoyed. I tell her I'm not joking and that she did this to herself. I told her if she had swallowed her pride and had even one picture, we wouldn't be like this today. She got angry and thought I had printed out the ones she had messed up. She got super upset and went to sit in the car. The next today I got a few texts from family members calling me an asshole for putting her on blast and humiliating her. Am I the asshole? Edit. Thank you for all your replies. I do want to clear something up. Whilst I agree it was a shitty move not to include goofy or rude pictures, that's not what Clem has an issue with. She's upset that I have no pictures of her from age 12-18 to fill the album with, and the few I do have caused extreme reactions from Clem. I can't fill an album with pictures I never took. That's what she's upset about, not the omission of goofy, rude photos. Edit 2. To those of you saying, who cares about rude gestures, or goofy faces, I didn't realize this needed saying, but the family photos weren't just for me, they were for everyone involved: aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents on all sides, etc. I can guarantee none of them want an 8-year-old making the eat out gesture in what is meant to be their nice family photo. Edit 3. It's kind of sad to see so many people assume that because a child has anxiety, that I berate them whenever they mess around when taking a photo. I never yelled at Clem for making silly faces, would simply encourage her to stop and smile, but her rude gestures and faces would ramp up. But I guess that's what you expect on this sub. Everyone hates their kids. Not the asshole. But why not just give her the old negatives that you did not print so that she can see for herself? Info. How is this just now coming up? Are you saying that there are family photos hanging in your home that do not include your daughter? Is she really just looking at this photo album for the first time at 26 years old? Not the asshole. I hate having my picture taken and I look awkward in all photos taken of me, but I now at 22 have realized the consequences of my actions and I try really hard to get pictures of myself. I used to have long hair to my knees and now it's above my shoulders. I have no photos of my long hair because I would pin it back or shy away from the camera. You were damned if you did and damned if you didn't in this situation. If you placed a screaming, crying child in front of the camera, she would basically never trust you, and now you have a crying adult asking why you respected her wishes. If all of the details are here and I've got this right, then she's the asshole for getting mad at you for something she did, but you're also the asshole for not printing off the goofy ones. Not the asshole, you were respecting her wishes as a child, you clearly saw she was uncomfortable taking photos and going out of her way to photobomb the picture by making faces or hiding away before completely refusing. She made her bed and now it's hard to lie down in it. It would have been worse to force her to take photos and have an album full of angry, crying faces. Not the asshole, you respected her wishes as a kid, and this is where y'all ended up now. You can't do anything about that. But I would show her the candid photos and ask if she's fine with that, and if she is, print it out and use those. Definitely at least show her them first and see how she reacts though. Not the asshole. Actions have consequences and she is now experiencing this. The fact that she voluntarily messed up and avoided pictures is all on her. She probably got angry because she remembered being a camera dodger and got embarrassed about it. Everyone sucks here. She can't really complain she doesn't have many photos if she always tried to avoid them, but I can't understand why you don't have any photos at all. Yes, you may not have traditional formal photos, but why have you never taken photos of her just playing or being at a party or other activities? The majority of the photos I have of my family are ones I take when they are naturally doing things, and it seems strange to me you only take photos where everyone is in a specific pose. Not the asshole. How can she forget that she refused to have her photos taken? Not the asshole. She asked, you answered. Info, is there a clear reason why she didn't want her pictures taken? Like self-esteem issues or anything similar? Edit, from your third edit I can tell you're a very passive-aggressive person. It's a legit concern people have to ask or wonder if you berated your kid for making funny faces. But sure, blame it on this subreddit that assumes all parents here hate their kids. Not the asshole. You answered her fricking question. If she takes offense, that's on her. I feel your pain. With my daughter, she had pictures taken, but would give them away. Almost all of her baby pictures she gave to friends when she was in elementary school. She was a latchkey kid because I had to work past the time she got out of school. She would get into the pictures and take them before I got home, even though I forbade her from doing that. She didn't care if she got into trouble. I told her to go ask the friends she gave them to give them back, they had just thrown them out because they didn't want them. It was so infuriating. Now she is sad because she has no pictures of her childhood. Info, so she's claiming to not remember years of refusal? The last part of which was only 8 years ago? Edit, not the asshole. Not the asshole. I was a studio portrait lady 20 years ago, and I can tell you, you can't make kids take pics if they don't want to. The bets were the parents who wanted to whip their kids into smiling. Sure, that'll make them look happy, hitting them. Fear and tears, capture the moment. Putting her on blast and humiliating her. I think you are not the asshole. I get your daughter is upset, but I don't get where the humiliation comes from. You are the asshole not because of the pictures, because of how you handled it. She was already crying and instead of saying, I get it, it stinks, or showing any kindness, you got annoyed and said, you did this to yourself. That's unnecessarily rude, and you can apologize for how you acted. She knows the lack of photos isn't your fault, but the lack of compassion is. Not the asshole. She's only 26, meaning that she very well knows that she refused to take photos as a teen. High school wasn't that long ago for her. She may be iffy on remembering ruining photos on purpose. So unless she had some event in her life that caused her to forget refusing to take prom photos, she knows exactly why there aren't many pictures of her. I would love to see how the daughter handles the wedding pictures. Those feel like they go on forever. I don't mind getting my picture taken, it only lasted about 1/2 hour-ish and even I was sick of it by the end. Not the asshole, you respected her wishes and boundaries. You've plenty of crappy pictures and would be a wonderful idea to gift them to her, so she knew you tried to include her without stomping on her wishes. I think she'll find them funny eventually, especially cooking up a child of her own. Your daughter not having any photos past the age of 12 due to refusing to take photos is her own doing. You not keeping the ones where she does funny faces is your fault. She was a kid, kids do stuff like that, you saying she ruined them is a mean thing to say. Not the asshole, it's not your fault she refused to have photos taken and I believe you made the right choice by respecting her boundaries. As another comment said, I think it would be a great idea to print all photos you have of her, even the messed up ones, and put them in the album. It sounds like to me she just regrets not having her photo taken. I'm kinda the same but not as extreme. I was very insecure as a teenager and was hesitant to have photos taken of me, and now I only have a handful of photos from that time of my life, which is kinda sad. Not the asshole she went out of her way to either take bad pictures or outright refuse to have hers taken. What does she expect? Magic pictures from when she said no? Not the asshole. I hate having my photo taken, but I let mum take some because it meant something to her. I did it only for my mum because it was the least I could do for her. Your daughter remembered she refused, but it's easier to blame you. Your family must remember too. I don't see how you humiliated her. Sorry you are going through this. Not the asshole. If there are no pictures of her, there are no pictures. Did she expect you to just magically have them when she never showed up to family photos to take part in them? It sounds like she's definitely humiliated, but more because she's realizing that rebellious phase in her life has removed an important element in family dynamics, which is the family picture. My situation is kind of similar in that I just didn't like to take pictures. Never thought I photographed well, and the only ones I would bear to take are those of taken at weddings because it's simply polite. I literally hated being in photos, but my mom made me take them anyways. So my idea was to just do a naturally non-interested face. Family found the whole thing hilarious, so now our family has a bunch of photos of them all doing that face, and I eventually decided to take normal ones. Making your child take photos in the past would have been better, but all in all, not the asshole. You are the asshole for this. She got all teary-eyed and told me to stop joking. At this point, I'm very annoyed. I tell her I'm not joking and that she did this to herself. I told her if she had swallowed her pride and had even one picture, we wouldn't be like this today. Sounds like you were just rude to her. You could have just explained what happened and that you have some of the funny faces ones in a folder on the computer. Turn a bad situation into one where you both could laugh about it. Instead, you essentially told an 8-year-old child to be responsible and swallow their pride. Clem, pulling funny photos as a child is on her, but the way you handled it makes you the asshole. Not the asshole. Show her all the pics of her, don't spare her. If she wants an album, then get one printed. There are cheap online places that will print into a book. Make it look like all the other albums. Include all her pictures. Give it to her. It's like she has selective memory that always makes her the victim. Sorry, her getting sentimental when pregnant isn't an excuse to not own her prior actions. You did not put her on blast, you explained why there were no good picture of her as a child and teen. That's on her, not the asshole, and I think you were very respectful of her growing up by not forcing her to be in photos she didn't want to be in. This is the natural consequence of not being in photos as a kid. When you want to look back as an adult, they don't exist. She's mad because she realized her own decisions created this now. It's hard to absorb, but that's not your fault. You have photos from birth to age 8, so it wasn't like you didn't have your camera ready. You just were respectful of her autonomy. Not the asshole. I say this gently and without any malice. You said your daughter is pregnant. You also said she knows she made rude gestures in photos or refused to have her picture taken. While I am sure she is upset, I think her extreme emotional reaction may partly be from pregnancy hormones. She also might be feeling mad at herself, but lashed out at you. Other people have made great suggestions for solutions to help your daughter feel better. Doing something special for her doesn't have to be a reaction of feeling bad because you wronged someone, which you didn't. It can just be that you love your daughter, and it is very clear you do. Not the asshole. Did she ever see a therapist as a child? It sounds like there are some deeper issues going on. Could you talk to her about why she never wanted her picture taken? Could you suggest a therapist? Not the asshole, and you can safely ignore and or mock anyone who actually says on blast. Not the asshole. What option did you have? My guess is reality set in at that moment, and that's why she left to sit in the car. You didn't put her on blast, you told her the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts. Not the asshole. You told her the truth and she couldn't take it. Not the asshole. What did she expect? Info. I understand your post about all the posed pictures. But what about pictures of things like graduation that are candid pictures taken from a distance? Do you have those? Not the asshole. She didn't want pictures of herself. Not the asshole. She deliberately ruined the pictures you tried to take and refused others when she was old enough. Not the asshole. She decided she didn't like photos being taken of her. She can't complain when there are very few photos. It's a lose-lose situation. You followed her wishes and now she is realizing the consequences. NTA. My kid has almost no pictures from 410 because he refused pictures or tried ruining them with creepy faces that I'm not saving, like eyes rolling in the back of his head, his mouth wide open in a creepy way. So if he asks one day, I'm going to say the same law. You didn't want pictures, so IDK what to tell you. Not the asshole. My middle daughter did this to a lesser degree, and younger. After about 18 months old, she screamed the house down when we entered a photographer's business or booth. Home pictures were fine, but never, ever, could we get a professional picture with her not screaming. I think it wasn't until kindergarten that she got over that. It was frustrating as hell. I have lots of pictures of my other kids, but none of middle girl at that age. Along about middle school, high school, she asked why she wasn't in them, and I explained that she had screamed so much we got booted out, because we did. Her screaming would upset the other kids waiting for their picture, so we had to leave. At least mine is in the albums of home pictures. No, it was her choice to be excluded, so it went this way. I was like as her too, I hated family pics. Not the asshole. You were a good parent. She was adamant she not have her picture taken and you accepted that. Not the asshole. And please tell your other family that their opinions were not asked or welcome by you. And they are more than welcome to give her the pics they have of her. Not the asshole, it is her own fault. But WTH, did you daughter know the eat out gesture at 8? My parents would have never let me get away with that. Not the asshole, she has some issues with it, you respected her boundaries and wishes. Now that she is starting a family of her own, she seems like she is regretting not having the photos. Not the asshole, people don't get to be assholes about pictures twice. You wanna be an asshole about getting them taken, then deal with not having any of yourself. I don't know. I think you are the asshole here. You blasted her for decisions she made as a child. Additionally, you really don't have a single photo of her. At all? It sounds like your daughter had a lot more going on than just a dislike of being in photos. Not the asshole. She didn't like having her picture taken and you didn't push her. Had you forced her to be a part of the family photos, this would be a whole other post titled, "Am I the asshole for forcing my daughter to be in photos when she didn't want to, causing her lifelong trauma," or some shit law. Not the asshole. There are almost zero pictures of me from age 13-21 because I hated the way I looked and would run anytime a camera was pulled out. Totally my fault and I own that.